This is not Fox, Congressman. You can't just spin a tail and pull the wool over people's eyes.
Yeah.
This is CNN. This is the news. We are asking you to come on and tell the truth.
And that's why more people are watching the Cartoon Network SpongeBob reruns right now, Jim. Look, I left the White House during a riot. My life was threatened. My life has been threatened within the last few weeks. Yet there's no coverage of that. And you all continue this narrative of attacking Trump. You just can't stand the fact that he won and that America spoke.
Congressman,
and that your view is very diminished.
That's not the case at all.
And your view is very diminished.
So somebody had to do it. I am the chosen one. Somebody had to do it.
Oh, no. It could have happened to better people, in my opinion. Absolutely savage news. CNN, not only going through a massive ratings crisis, just laid off another 200 people and are firing some of their top staff by putting them in less than desirable time slots in order to force them to quit because their salaries are too high to lay off. Like Jim Acosta, one of the most annoying people ever. The idea that he could be gone out of CNN fills my heart with joy. I hope, by the way, you'll take a second to enjoy this video, leave a like on it, and tune in to our live stream at 1 Eastern. We're live on Rumble. We're also live on YouTube on a channel called Quartercast, which I will leave in the description below. We're live every day at 1 Eastern, so hopefully you'll check that out. Now, let's take a look at this. CNN in turmoil as anti-Trump star Jim Acosta now threatens to quit over midnight time slot move. Jim Acosta is reportedly considering quitting the broadcaster after being demoted from his prized 10 a.m. show and threatened with banishment to the Serbia of broadcasting. He'll be replaced at that time by the Situation Room with Wolf Blitzer and Pamela Brown. The New York Times reported that Acosta is in talks with CNN bosses about another as yet unconfirmed role. Jim Acosta is basically only known for being extraordinarily annoying. He's very good at it. I mean, he is very good at it. I won't take that away from him. But he also offers really nothing. He offers nothing of value. He offers nothing of any news. By the way, if you hear that noise, my furnace has been out for several days in the office, and there's currently someone on the roof pounding, I think, ice off the exhaust valve. Now, the LA Times have reported that Acosta may now quit. Meanwhile, Fox News reported Acosta's getting hosed inside of CNN offices over his shocking demotion. Insider suggested that acceptance for a midnight to 2 a.m. slot is his only pathway forward. Acosta's 10 a.m. ratings are good, but his notorious past clashes with Donald Trump have said to make the network bosses nervous as Trump begins his second term as president. His verbal sparring matches with the administration and the president himself saw him lose his press pass at one point before CNN successfully sued for breach of constitutional rights to get it back. However, network chiefs have said to be keen to water down the theatrics and believe moving Acosta to the Serbia of television is the only way to do it. Well, that end, they can't fire him because in the media you have contracts, and so that contract is what it is, and they're going to have to pay him whether he works or not. So they might as well, they literally might as well just keep him working is what I'm guessing. You have Jim Acosta's back and forth going viral with Trump. From back in the air, Trump said CNN should be ashamed of having you on their network for them. You're a terrible, rude person. You shouldn't be working for CNN. This is, of course, a new way forward for CNN because they want to appear unbiased because they know that, attaching their boat, hooking their boat up to the Democratic National Committee, the Democrat Party has destroyed the ratings. CNN and MSNBC are absolutely tanking. Now, Fox News isn't doing much better because there's a lot of people out there who are doing independent news and people prefer that. I even started doing these 3-minute news bits on TikTok and Instagram. People seem to like it. The quartering news, one word, on TikTok and Instagram. I know you probably hate TikTok. That's okay. I do too. But I'm still trying to reach people every way I can. CNN layoff bloodbath begins as hundreds on the chopping block as network restructures for Trump era. CNN has started laying off the first of what is set to be hundreds of staffers as the mainstream media begins to cut jobs with Donald Trump returning to the White House. What's more is the struggling cable network has plans to do major surgery on its TV lineup, attempting to expand the digital subscribers and move production to its Atlanta home base. I mean, again, this is how people want to watch their news. They watch it from YouTubers. They watch it from, from various live streams, content creators. They're really not interested in tuning in to CNN. That's just the frank truth of it. They're not interested in tuning in to hear what CNN has to say about just about anything. And the only thing of value that CNN has is kind of these meme-worthy, like sound bites. And ultimately, those are only good for X. Now, what's more, the layoffs were initially reported in November and follow about 100 cuts the network made over the summer. At least one big-name producer has reportedly learned that they're out of a job Wednesday, with many more set to be told today. Many shows are also rumored to be moving from New York and Washington back to Atlanta, where production costs are much cheaper. On the schedule, virulently anti-Trump anchor Jim Acosta may be headed to the dead zone of cable news, going from 10 a.m. to a 2-hour show now airing at midnight. The network's former chief White House correspondent may leave the network altogether, according to LA Times, if he doesn't expect a time slot that's been described as the Serbia of cable news. Insiders told Puck News back in November that the firings were likely to lean closer to the production side of things. New CNN CEO Mark Thompson, who personally asked Acosta to accept the midnight show, said in a meeting last month that the layoffs were not to cut costs, but to change CNN and make it better. Come on. It's to cut costs. Puck reported that he told staffers disproportionate, open-minded coverage of the incoming president. Employees at the network have described the vibes as anxious, nauseous, as closed-door meetings take place to determine the future of the network. Their competitors are all set to do the same, as NBC News is also planning massive layoffs, a few dozen workers this very same day. Staffers at ABC News, following the network's highly publicized settlement with Trump, are also worried that cuts are about to come, though no specific dates have been set. However, a source of the network says everyone is on edge, and despite all three being highly profitable, their business models are said to be broken. I don't think they're highly profitable, and I've got more information about that. President Trump commented on the matter on Truth Social. MSDNC is even worse than CNN. It should not have the right to broadcast only in America. Daily Mail, of course, has reached out for comment. The network has just gone through an embarrassing lawsuit after they defamed an Afghan war veteran by falsely accusing him of running a black market for Afghanistan evacuations and must pay him $5 million in damages. The highest paid remaining stars said the network has been battling sagging ratings and vows from conservative lawmakers, including Trump himself, to crack down on what they claim is unfair liberal bias. We know that there was a lawsuit settled by Donald Trump to with the 60 Minutes show that was probably in the many hundreds of millions of dollars too. We don't really know what it was, but I mean, CNN doesn't have any stable either. They have no stable. Here's the Daily Beast. CNN to fire hundreds of staff amid ratings crisis. Does that sound like they're not cutting costs? Does that sound like they're just doing this to streamline things? No, they're hemorrhaging cash. Even liberal media, liberal media is basically cooked. Look at even like the Young Turks, even liberal media online. You have all sorts of people desperately. You have, what was that guy from the Majority Report? Begging for money. Cenk Uygur going on every conservative podcast that would platform him, begging for people to tune into his show. It didn't work. CNN, here you have with ratings. Still, digital pivot has not coincided with presumptuous ratings decline throughout 2024, and especially so after the election. The network had its worst performance in the advertiser coveted 25 to 54 age demographic last year. A trial this month that found CNN liable for defamation. Also, the network's revenue declined from $2.2 billion in 2021 to $1.8 billion in 2023. That's a $400 million drop. It has since reportedly let some of its top talent salaries stay stagnant. The network had planned to reshuffle programming as it seeks to retain an audience and cut costs. CNN has considered shifting Wolf Blitzer and its now longstanding anchor from the afternoon to the morning show. I mean, this is an absolute disaster. You see this. The New York Times Company and the BBC have tried to dismiss the ratings collapse that once also affected MSNBC, though less starkly. Its 2024 year-end press release hailed the network as the top digital source of news in the world, but acknowledged the headwinds plaguing the cable news network. I highly doubt MSNBC gets more views than Tim Pool. You know, as media habits continue to change and the industry evolves, CNN is delivering essential news and information with distribution across linear, digital, and streaming platforms. Yeah, that's why it's for sale. That's why it's for sale. Ratings star CNN revenue dropped roughly $400 million in 3 years, according to new court records. That's an 18% drop. You know, and I'm sure it dropped even more last year. The numbers represent the plaintiff's interpretation of a subset of data. This is all due to a lawsuit. CNN's finances that Acosta referred to earlier, based on 2023 tax documents given to the plaintiff, its net worth went from $4.4 billion in 2021 to $2.3 billion in 2023. That is a 50% drop in net worth in 2 years. Despite viewership tanking, CNN remains extremely profitable, the tax documents revealed, but it also showed the network's net worth had been sliced in half in just 2 years. I mean, CNN, all these networks are absolutely cooked, and that's because they've done nothing but lie to the American people for the past 10 years. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like on it. If you haven't yet, please subscribe or follow down below, and we'll talk to you again real soon.